Okay, everybody, this is Mert Witness 1, Mert Witness 1 live. Welcome to the live stream. I had a bit of technical difficulty. Um, I thought I was on the air, and I was not. So that I just blew about 15 minutes of a monologue on nothing. Anyway, I am here. I will edit this, and let me rewind and start all over again. Anyway, what I was talking about when I started out was that Tim Homeseth got on his Facebook channel and made the claim that tortured babies rescued under Central Park brought up into medical tents, which of course is false. Um, Now, what he did, he's running around the country in his little SUV again. He's got clothing stacked up to the earlobes. Um, I'm not quite certain what he thinks he's going to accomplish running around the country in the middle of a pandemic, other than he's probably going to get nailed for being out without authority. Um, now, Tim Homeseth, in his latest uh, iteration, I guess you could call it, has stated that there are roughly 50,000 new rescued children, or that the number is up to 50,000, and that they're being put in these tents. Well, there's a little problem with that fiction. First of all, everybody has continuing access to these tents. So if there were people being brought up from underground, everybody would know about it. Leaks happen every day. People got smartphones and stuff, they can take pictures, and so this so-called secret operation at Timmy's is not going to uh, do him any good. I mean, and the thing of it is, there's no point in trying to convince the people that believe Tim into not believing him. You're not going to change their mind. These people are brainwashed. They want somebody like Tim. They want to believe in what Tim believes in. So they're going to come up with all this stuff, and they are going to believe uh, what they want to believe. Linda, yes, I've had a very good weekend. Things are going fine. Um, been a little bit tired. Oh, well, I'm glad Monty's on. Tell him hello. I'm just kind of pedaling along here. Well, he's on the road, but he's not. Not on the road for any task force. I really don't know what he thinks he's doing, but he's running around in this car. He's got to be getting gas from somewhere. He's literally sleeping in the car. I've done an examination of the entire video, and you can tell that he's sleeping in the car. He's got clothes piled up in the back to the ceiling. Um, he's trying to cut down on the sunlight. He's got the windows of the car covered, and when he looks around, hey Rebecca, welcome to the chat. When he looks around, you can see that he's even got junk on the front seat, and it's just it's the same old merry-go-round, same thing every night. Um, he's not nothing new. Sometimes he repeats the same thing. Hi, GS. Uh, so it's the same old, same old. He comes online, does a video, makes all these outrageous claims. He says, "Oh, anybody that says there's no task force and the children aren't getting me arrested, or all this is a liar." And I think it sounds like I was referred to in this. I'm not sure because he mispronounced my nickname. Yeah, I got a hiccups all of a sudden. He mispronounced my nickname. So what are you gonna do? He does. I suppose I could start calling him Tiny Homesuck or something, since he wants to do name calling. That seems to be his only lot in life. Uh, Yeah, Grippler, he's got the windows blocked up. I didn't notice the one in the back until tonight. He's got the window immediately behind the driver's side blocked off, and then he's got the window in the back blocked off. I thought that was kind of strange, but if he's sleeping in the daylight, he's got to cover the windows. So that's, you know, when you're living in a car, that's a typical thing you do. You block off the windows to keep the light out so you can sleep, and it also cuts down on the heat. Yeah, yeah, Lee is Lee. What are you gonna do? But he puts up videos and then he takes videos back down again. If he says the wrong thing in the videos, then he takes them down. But we archive them, put them up in the big shoot, so he's not really getting rid of anything. I already archived this video, so it's not like he's gonna get away with anything. Um, Unlike Timmy, I don't block or remove videos. I have nothing to hide, so I'm not going to put up stuff and then take it right back down again. This is what Tim does. Now, another interesting thing happened today was with this, or yesterday, is this Juan character. Now, Juan got his fifis hurt because somebody put up the truth about him and used his own videos as evidence, and they got a strike. And they got enough strikes, apparently, that YouTube took the channel down. Now, I don't know precisely the reason for the strike, but people are learning, and they're turning around, and they're starting up BitChute, and they're just reloading the stuff into BitChute. But he forgets there's a way to see the surroundings GP, or GS. That's not going to work. But it doesn't matter, because really, at this point, I don't care where he is. He could be he could be at the Arch in St. Louis. I don't care. I don't care where the hell he is. He's out there running around, exposing himself to the virus. So there's a silver lining there. Because if you're out and about traveling in a car, it doesn't look like, by what I'm looking at here on his Facebook, that he's taking very good care of himself. His hair looks like that Prime Minister of England, and then he's got a little bit of a shadow there, 5 o'clock shadow as we call it. But then again, But if this guy's taking a shower, it's a surprise to me, because where's he going to take a shower at? They charge in a truck stop. So. Yeah, just me, I guess. Everybody's in this crowd is running the absolute nonsense. I mean, Randy's doing the same thing. They all are. I mean, these people are idiots. Um, but it's not the best thing in the world to be running around in a car at this juncture with everything that's going on. Anything can happen. But he's claiming that people are going to shoot him, and yet he's out and about in a car using public Wi-Fi, which means the feds know where he is because he's using public Wi-Fi, and that's the worst thing you can be doing. If you're out live streaming, you don't want to be live streaming on a public Wi-Fi if you're trying to avoid detection. It doesn't work. And I'd like to give a challenge out there, and this is a challenge that Timothy actually gave out. Timmy went on one of his streams, and he challenged that somebody should go to one of these briefings at the White House and ask Donald Trump directly about all these kids that are being rescued from under Central Park. Just point blank ask them. And I'm challenging people to do just that. And it's simple. You just write to the office of the press secretary of the United States, or, the White House press secretary. You can write to Barr, You can write to all kinds of people, but you can write to the press secretary because that's the public information office for the White House, is the press office. And you can ask. And I'm pretty certain, and we could start, if 1,000 people wrote, like the Fox News, who is Trump's favorite news station, or CNN, CBS, ABC, NBC, PBS, and all these other, if we start doing letter writing to these people and saying, hey, what's the deal with this Pentagon Pedophile Task Force? We're hearing all about this Pentagon Pedophile Task Force. Can you people dig into it and find out what it's all about? And if enough of this gets across the desk of all these news medias, they're going to investigate it. So not only should we do it as people that think this is a bunch of bullshit, but those that believe Timmy should do it. Because, these secrets are not coming out. For whatever reason, this press secretary for the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force is incapable of producing concrete, verifiable evidence, which is what a true professional journalist is supposed to do. And the President of the United States is not even talking about it. So what's we got a cover-up going on here. And somebody probably ought to talk to WikiLeaks, Julian Assange people. Say, hey, we got this big Pentagon Pedophile Task Force thing going on here, and we're not able to get out any information. And say, hey, can you guys do your WikiLeaks thing and go investigate this Tim Holmseth and this big government agency and find out why none of this information is getting out? I mean, if we got 50,000 kids, running around undetected, there's going to be 100,000 parents and guardians and another, maybe 30 or 40,000 relatives of all these kids running around, and they want to know what the hell's going on. This is a huge operation, and it's about time WikiLeaks, Anonymous, Q, all these big groups, they ought to be investigating Tim Holmseth and finding out where he's getting all this information from. This could be the blockbuster story of the year, to find out why Tim Holmseth is having such a hard time getting this information out. Hell, if this stuff's true, let it come out. This poor little guy has to sit in his car all day in the hot sun with all this clothes piled in the back, and he can't get his super duper secret story out because the president is keeping this stuff all a big secret, or maybe Mike Pence is preventing it and stuff. So we ought to help poor little Timmy out and just spread the word to everybody you can to write the White House press office, write in care of the press secretary, White House press secretary. Maybe Mrs. Conway could do something, write her directly. Hi, Dodger. I mean, let's do it. I mean, I'm doing it. I've been making phone calls all day trying to track this story down. I mean, I'd even write to Governor Cuomo. I mean, Central Park is, 4 miles from his office. Write Mario Cuomo and say, hey, what's going on with all these people? Or no, he's in Albany. Wrong. He has a house in New York City, but his office is. But the governor of the state of New York, write the governor of the state of New York. Say, hey, what's with all these kids in Central Park? Write the mayor of New York. De Blasio or whatever his name is. The kids can't breathe. Yeah, they can't breathe. That's, go out, if they can't breathe, you can go out and buy them scuba tanks in the nearest dive shop. At least they're getting oxygen, air. And as far as the only, if you sit there and hook up a ventilator to them, you got to stick a tube down their throat, and I'm sure they're going to appreciate that. Spend half their life in a cave, and now somebody sticks a pipe down their throat, and they're going to be happy as hell at that. I don't think people understand how a ventilator works. It's not the most comfortable thing in the world. If you can't get air to your lungs, they stick a pipe down your windpipe. And thank you, Roger. And so there you go. But I would start writing letters to all these famous people. You got You can go right to the office of the Joint Chiefs of Staffs at the Pentagon and ask them what the hell's going on with this Pentagon Pedophile Task Force. How come we haven't heard of anything? And what the hell are you people doing running around the country blowing up Ks? You're going to knock people's houses down. You're going to have all kinds of problems because even a 1.2, even a point 0.1 or 1 point on the Richter scale, that can cause ground damage. You got water pipes and electrical pipes, cable TV, all this shit that's underground. You start knocking out people's TV in the middle of a pandemic to where they're isolated in their home and they can't watch TV. They're going to be pissed. We got the WWE that's going to be televised, and if you blow up a cave and knock out a WWE's show, these people are going to get pissed. They're going to go out and they're going to shoot up the nearest cable office because they don't know what's going on, and it's some damn Marine down in a cave underneath their house that used just a little bit too much dynamite and blew up a cave. And if you don't do it the right way, you could create sinkholes in some of these caves because, these things are supposed to be under just about every city in the United States, and you can, if the caves are too close to the surface, you can have a sinkhole. One day a guy's going to leave his house to go get groceries, and he's going to come back and he's going to have a big ass hole in the ground. And the next thing you know, all these Marines are going to come crawling out like ants out of an anthill. So, well, Linda, what happened is they set tents up in some of these locations based on forecasts that, there may be people that are going to be coming in, and the projections have apparently fell short, which is good. And so you got all these empty tents. Now, see, this is something I got into on the portion that I forgot I wasn't on the air. I don't know what the hell happened to my settings. But anyway, New York State is covered in what they call shale. And Central Park has got shale in it. Now, are there tunnels in New York State and in some parts of New York City? Yeah, in a way. Because New York City, you don't understand. New York City goes 10 to 20 stories below ground. There are points in New York City that are 150 to 180 feet underground. And if you ever go to New York City, especially Manhattan, and you go to like the Empire State Building and you take the elevator down, you got a mall that runs the entire length of Manhattan, downtown Manhattan, and I think it starts about 20th Street or something, I'm not sure. But it's all underground. And there's stores, there's your subway stations, some of the railway stations are underground, the railroads, Long Island Railroad runs under part of New York City. I mean, half of the city is under the ground. And there's also drainage for your water and stuff and sewer. You got sewer tunnels and storm tunnels. You got all this stuff underground. So you got a city underground as well as a city upstairs. That's New York City. And that's true of a large number of cities. Los Angeles is the same way. They have a lot of these flood control canals because when you get horrific rainstorms out there. It's like a cloudburst. And the next thing you know, you got a raging flood. And if it weren't for these culverts that they got down there in Los Angeles, you'd have, there'd be nothing there. They'd all get wiped out into the ocean. So, well, people look at the tents every day. I've talked to people that have personally been in those tents. And they're field tents. And they got, you got ordinary workers who go in there every day and deliver stuff. And the reason they delivered diapers there, which nobody seems to think of, is there might be newborns, toddlers, and what have you that get sick and they have to go in there and you got to have diapers for the kids, for crying out loud. You're not gonna have all these kids inside these tents and not have diapers. But Tim says, oh, this is a thing where the Marines are bringing the kids up and putting them in the caves or in these tents and so forth. I mean, it's just, he takes something that's going on and he makes a fantasy out of it. He does this every time. And he's doing it again. But again, you're not going to get people to believe him. Now, another thing when you're talking about caves, I don't know if anybody's ever been to Carlsbad Caverns out in New Mexico, Mammoth Cave. There's caves in West Virginia. There's caves in Tennessee. There's caves. I think there's even caves in New York State, if I remember correctly. There's mines. I mean, an hour from my home is a town called Watkins Glen, and it has one of the largest salt mines in the United States, and that's in Watkins Glen. And you go up, and you can take an elevator, about 100, 200 feet down from the ground, and you're in a cave full of salt. Now, Tim says they're having problems. They can't get the ventilators down there because there's no electricity. Well, I guess he's never been in a mine because they have electricity in modern mines. I mean, they got all kinds of stuff down there. They got to have light. They got to have power to run some of the equipment down there. Some of the really, really big mines have a full-blown cafeteria down there. Because if you're going to ship somebody 1,000 feet under the ground, and he's going to work, in 4 hours, you're not going to ship him back upstairs again so he can eat. You're going to let him, unless he brings a box lunch, you're going to have a cafeteria down there. And a lot of the big modern mines have cafeterias. And in cafeterias, you got to have electricity. You got to run the stove. You got to run the air conditioning. You got to do all kinds of stuff. So you're going to have power. Plus, you also have an emergency medical station down there. You got little places that, if they have a cave in, they got auxiliary lighting. They got oxygen. They got first aid kits. They got all kinds of crap down there. So, this business about they can't tank ventilators down into mines to these kids, and they're going to come upstairs and they're going to get, blinded by the light, and they're going to look like a creature with weird feet and all that. It just ain't happening. Yeah, it's Morton Salt, as a matter of fact, as to who owns that mine. But I used to haul salt when I drove truck. But all these excuses Tim uses to explain why these children are brought up to the tents is horse crap, because they could take care of the kids in place. You take the damn things underground. You go to Eon Busk and get these batteries that'll last a month underground. You have such a thing as called wire, so you can you can run a power cable down in there and run. And the thing of it is, I don't know if Tim has ever seen a ventilator. Now, it's a complicated device, but it's not a power hog. The current draw of one of these things is about 15 amps. A 15 amp AC line will run one of these devices. I mean, it doesn't have a mammoth pump that you got to have 440 current or all this. I mean, it's just, the thing is the size of a desktop PC, even though it's got all these pipes and I've personally seen ventilators. They're not that big. What makes it complicated is the computers and the fact that you have to know how to run the damn thing. But, you could put as many ventilators as you want down into a cave and run the damn things. You don't have to haul the kids out if you're concerned about them being blinded by the light and all this stuff, which is sheer nonsense. So, there is a workaround. And the part that really has me scratching my head is the blowing up of a cave. Why blow the damn thing up? First of all, it's evidence of a crime. If they're committing all these crimes and they've got all this laboratory down here with, raising the kids and all this stuff, number one, you salvage the equipment. And number two, you have evidence. Because if somebody's breaking the law, you got to have evidence. And pictures aren't going to cut it. When you go to court, they have to have a chain of command. They have to have physical evidence. There has to be forensics done, all kinds of stuff. So you just don't go around the country willy-nilly saying, okay, let's take the kids out. All right, now that we got the kids out, give me a stick of dynamite or a hand grenade and let's finish off this cave. That ain't happening. Timmy's living in this little fantasy world where, the first thing he did, they set fires. That was his first thing. He said, they set fires to California to cover it up. So all these people out in California lost their houses so they could rescue a bunch of kids 1,000 feet underground. That makes a lot of sense. And now he's coming up, well, they just said to hell with burning the place down. We'll just blow the damn things up. Right, Timmy? And then, the thing about it, number one, to hide people in caves is pretty damn expensive when you could just go out an island in a big house like this Epstein thing and put them there. I mean, there's plenty of places to put kids. You don't have to dig a hole in the ground and put them down there or convert existing caves because there's a lot involved. Just ain't going to happen. And, there's such a thing, they're risking cave-ins, they're risking floods. What do you think formed caves in the first place? Water. And a lot of times, you even go to Carlsbad Cavern, the thing is full of water, and it's damp. And if you turn the lights off, you can't see your hand in front of your face. And I don't care if you spend your life in a cave. You're not going to develop the, ability to see underground. It's just not going to happen. There's no light. Unless you're in where you have these mineral caves where they have the natural phosphorus lighting and stuff like that, just isn't going to happen. So, this whole thing is just ridiculous. Just as anything that Tim Homesestis does. It's just absolutely ridiculous. People believe this crap, and I just don't get it. But, you're not going to change their mind. I'm not going to try and convince these people that they're full of it because you're not going to do it. They're just going to continue on with their little fantasy, and they're going to make themselves look like fools. Everybody's got tunnels. I mean, they put a basement under a building that doesn't have one. In a city that doesn't allow basements, number one. And it's, because of the geography, you just don't put basements under places that have high water tables. But, Timmy was a dropout from whatever, so he doesn't know anything about architecture or even about construction. So, but they just make the stuff up. I mean, Epstein was weird. He did a lot of bad things. I'm not excusing Epstein, but also, if you're gonna go after Epstein and those around him who are guilty of things, you don't lie about it, because then I know about Howard Caverns. You're going to get into a situation where, if you start doing too much of this Epstein stuff and getting out there in the outer limits, people are going to dismiss everything about Epstein. So you're damaging the story that way. And Michigan has basements. I came from Melmar, New York. The house I lived in had a basement. And, there are places you can have basements, but it's the water table and the geology determines if you are or are not going to have a basement. Florida, basements are rare because you go 2 feet under the ground in some places in Florida and you're gonna hit water. And if you build a house with a basement and it's too low to the ground, the way sand works in Florida, you're going to wind up having a flooded basement. So you don't put a basement in the lower portions of Florida. You go up into North Florida and you go up into what we call hills in Florida, it is possible to have basements up there. But it's not, it's just not a wise thing to do. Now, Disney has a basement, but what Disney did is they took and built up. And when they built up, they built a 5-story building, and then they put the Magic Kingdom on top of it, and they basically buried the 5-story building under sand, under the natural thing. So it gives you the illusion that when you go into Disney World, and if you're an employee there and you go down into the what we call the hexagon, technically you're underneath the Magic Kingdom. You're in what they would call a basement, but it's not completely underground. They just raised the ground. That you have to do that in Florida if you're going to have anything that has what resembles a basement. You got to build the ground up to it, and that's what they did. And they have a huge pumping station that makes sure that the water doesn't recede back into the hexagon and all kinds of stuff. But there's actually an actual city underneath the Magic Kingdom. And so, what are you going to do? But Yeah, as far as going out to natural caves and mines and having all these kids, it's implausible because of the logistics involved. At the end of the day, you have to look at the logistics. You have to look at what it would take to have 50,000, 100,000 kids, because the fish keeps getting bigger and bigger. Now we're up to 50 and higher thousand of kids in these tunnels and caves, and it's very difficult to do. Well, yeah, everybody has tunnels. Now, that what's funny about Oprah's house, they said, yeah, Oprah's got tunnels. This is in southeast Florida, and the house is at sea level. You're gonna put a tunnel underneath a house at sea level. It's crazy. If you know anything about Florida, you don't do that. We don't have wells in South Florida because the water's right there. All you gotta do is throw a pipe down, and you got water. And the water is terrible anyway down there. They have to filter the crap out of it because it's full of sulfur from the limestone. Um, so this thing about Oprah Winfrey having a tunnel underneath her house just ain't gonna cut it. And the first time that story came out, they had the tunnel underneath underneath a condominium, and this is a place where 200 people own this condominium complex, and they're not going to like having tunnels and caves underneath these buildings. That's ridiculous. Of course it's insane. Anybody with any common sense thinks 5 minutes, they're going to say this guy's full of crap. But you got all these people that believe him, and it's like, huh? I mean, what's in their drinking water? Somebody's been drinking too much moonshine is all I can figure, because these people ain't sober. I mean, there's a little bit too wacky with the tobacco or something here. With this shit, and it's just good God Almighty, what are you gonna do? But again, if people want to believe this stuff, they're gonna believe it. So. Well, yeah, he's got the thing of it is it's called publish or perish. I mean, you got to in Timmy's situation, you just got to keep going and going and going, because if he were to stop, you know, if he didn't keep something up there every day, uh, he'd literally die. People would just go because they want fresh news, they want breaking news, they want to know the latest, they want to, and now that we're into this, there's people out there that are chomping at the bit because they want to see some concrete proof of these kids being saved. They want to see these kids. Tim's only going to be able to keep this up for so long because people are going to start to wonder. They say, hey, we got the President of the United States in there. We got, President Trump controls Congress. Well, he controls the Senate right now. But he controls the Senate. He controls the Department of Defense. I mean, he's got all these people that he's put in these places. So he's got all this control. So there should be no reason why he can't come out and say, okay, we rescued 50,000 kids from these caves and stuff. But, I don't know why that changed all of a sudden. I think it's... I see somebody else just posted on his Facebook, and it says, please don't ask me to come on, and please don't ask him to come on because I can't show you anything. I can only follow these people, and he can't show you anything because he's under strict orders. You just have to wait until they're finished. Don't ever give your enemy your plan. It's not on our time, it's on theirs. They are the ones doing the rescuing. See, that right there is the excuse. They're saying, okay, we got all the secret stuff going on. We can't reveal it because we don't want to give things away to the enemy, and so on and so forth. Yet Tim Holmseth is going on Facebook and giving these reports out, and what that's doing is that's giving aid and comfort to the enemy, because now they say, oh, they're onto us. They're going around blowing up our case. Well, we'll just do something different. I mean, jeez. Let's see. Let me go. I think it was Divine's channel that got whacked. Um, yeah, I think it was Divine. Oh, why is this thing up? So let me go over to, and I'll put the link to that in here. Because, John F. Kennedy Jr., the guy that claimed to be him, went in and basically managed to get her struck to the point where her channel was taken down. And so she went and she's up on, I think it's a she, it, started a bit shoot. And so somebody might have to bring it in because it's not showing up where I thought it was. Because I'd been reading about this. Well, I think Agent 19's just gone about doing, he's moved on because primarily Agent 19 was around because of Tim Holmseth. And, I think people just, they have things where they decide, well, I retweeted that damn thing. Where the hell did it go? All right, let me. Yeah, I'm going to have to find the link. Because but she's on BitChute now. So somebody could shoot me a PM with that link. I'll throw it in here. But this Juan character, for whatever reason, doesn't like the truth about him coming out, so he goes out and he strikes people. He did it to Northwest Liberty News, and now he's doing it to us. And I don't understand what the problem is. I mean, the one thing because if you put up that somebody objects to what they're doing, they're gonna run over to you and find out what all the fuss is about. And if they agree with you, fine. If they don't, then they're gonna say, "Oh well, I'll avoid that dude." I mean, because nothing's gonna happen. I mean, you're not gonna have the FBI banging on your door because some YouTuber is YouTubing about you. Because if there's an investigation going on, it's going on. So I don't know, and it's these people are afraid of criticism. Because they're gonna say, "Oh, I'm gonna report you to YouTube for saying mean things about me." Well, a little bit on the cowardly side. God. Old people have a hard time staying up this late. Because we got Tamara's doing the same thing. She's running around. This Dr. Tammy or whatever her name is going around doing the same thing. Tammy Perry, the blind fairy. LEO Livewire. I don't want to get into that again. I thought I'd heard of everything, and then this Livewire thing comes up. And it isn't Livewire, no, it's Livewire. Jeez. You gotta, the people that just get sucked up in this nonsense. And then they have to go and make excuses for this super duper secret stuff. Yes. Oh well. Well, for whatever reason, Man, I got a case of the yawns tonight. Between hiccups and yawns. Oh, of course, they've all got to get on there and do their thing. But, yeah, if I can ever get Divine's uh, channel in a PM, I'll put it up here, or DM, so everybody can watch it. Because I just don't understand why I'm not finding it. Well, what I can do is look for it this way. Trouble is, I put up so much stuff, it's going to be hard for me to find it. Yeah, I know. Usually I uh, have a Pepsi to keep me awake, but I gotta watch the money. I'm on Social Security, so I can't be spending a lot of money on stuff. Yeah, it's just that I've been up all day. I got up early today, and I've been pretty busy. So, it's like, there's just been a lot of things to do. And so I missed out on my nap time. Oh, Amber's doing fine. She's in the back bedroom. Uh, Skippy's laying in front of the fan. Boy, I post a lot of crap. Let's see. Oh, good. Nothing like having a nice little garden. It's kind of tough to do here. I don't have much of a yard. Oh, geez. Not really that tired. I just can't quit yawning. And usually this time of night I yawn anyway, but okay, 14 hours. This was a while. God. That's a good question. Well, my home address is out there. Everybody is, it's no secret where I live. All you do is look up the court papers for Timmy, and my address will be there. And I guess you just send me to that address if you feel like it. You know, it's, I'm asked. I want to make sure people have enough money to cover their own stuff before they, you know, that's one of the reasons I took my link down to my Patreon because uh, people need to take care of themselves first. Uh, I don't know how you people are doing income wise as far as jobs and things, but you need to take care of yourself first and not worry about me because I don't. If I want a Pepsi bad enough, I'll go out and buy it. They're about five. They're $4 to $5 a carton here, depending on the size. Yeah, but that's like. So the last thing I'm worried about right now are donations. That's something that's not even necessary. 10 hours. Jesus. There, I just doxed myself. But, I'm glad you're doing fine and everything. It's just that you know, I just want people to take care of themselves first, take care of their loved ones, family, and friends, because there are people out there that are suffering right now. And so the last thing we need to be worrying about is whether or not I can have a can of Pepsi. I mean, because this is a pretty bad situation. You got 40,000 people that have died from this stupid thing, and that's only people that we know of. Okay, finally found it. Okay, this is the link to the bit shoot of Divine Interloper. And what I'm going to do is see, is this... I am going to bookmark this. So I'll know where her thing is. So that's done. I've got Divine Interloper's link bookmarked. Oh, Call of Duty. One of these days I'm going to play that thing. I've got the Xbox One, but I haven't bothered to get the annual subscription to it. And oh yeah, I like the airplanes. One that I used to play for a while was War and Thunder, with all the airplanes and stuff. And I play them up until you have to start paying for shit, and then I don't go any higher. I just like flying the plane around. And I'm gonna get the now when they get the Flight Simulator 2020 all worked out, I'm gonna get that. This computer I'm on right now is set up for it because I got the 40. I got the ultra wide monitor. It's a 48-inch wide monitor, and yeah, that thing it's a gas when you put up an aircraft simulator in your front view in the airplane. It really is realistic. Oh my god. Well, I'm glad everybody's able to watch Monty. He's a character. Um, he's doing well. I'll say that for him. Um, but that's if you can do it, why not? I don't want to take away from Monty because he's the big gorilla in town. Oh damn. Yeah, but so far we got a pretty decent flow tonight in the channel. But I just don't understand people that they make these claims, and then when somebody calls them on the claims, all of a sudden they either get blocked or they get struck on. I mean, it's if you're gonna say something, you gotta back it up. Police bust horrific child sex abuse ring, but it's not the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force. It's police, and this is Australia. Oh, he's after me again. Oh, it took long enough. Mert hates the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force. I was wondering how long it was going to take him to do this. He just put up 5 minutes ago the illegal calls that were made to he. And he's all right, everybody. Tim is listening to the chat. Uh, and he's putting up stuff I said about 10 or 15 minutes ago. He's doing it wrong. But well, yeah. I'm not defending Epstein. I don't know where Tim gets the idea The PPTS, let's see what he says here. The PPTF possesses information and unique communication that shows who Murtaugh is communicating with in Broward County judicial system. Oh, really? Ah, Timmy, you're so full of shit. It's coming out your ears and flowing out the windows of the car you're in. That is too funny. But he's doing it again. This is what Timmy does. When he gets backed into a corner, he comes after me. I got 24 people on this channel, and I think one of them is him. And he's over on his big Pentagon Pedophile Task Force coming after me. I mean, I am that important to Tim Homseth that he's got. I mean, my God. This is the press secretary to the President of the United States attacking a retired truck driver running a 24-viewer YouTube. How sad is that? This is absolutely pathetic. Last night I had 10 people on. 10. My viewership is going down. I can't break the 750 barrier. I get over 750, it drops back down again. And Tim Homseth claims to have thousands of people on here. I think he's got 5,000 people on his friend list over here on Facebook. And yet this guy is paranoid about me. Because that's what it boils down to. And Tim doesn't understand something. If it had not been for him getting me into this situation a year ago, or 10 years ago, if he had just left me out of it, I wouldn't give a flying frack about him and his pedophile task force. I wouldn't even be tuning him in. This live stream wouldn't be about Tim Homseth. It would be, I would be reviewing cameras and drones and ham radio stuff over on my other channel. I wouldn't be bothering with any of this stuff. I could probably get 10,000 viewers over there reviewing cameras and equipment and, the headset I got on, I could do a review of that and get 10,000 people. But because of Tim Homseth and people like him, this is where we're at. I have to counter his crap. And he just, he thinks it doesn't bother me anymore. When you're at the bottom of the well, the only way you can go is up. I mean, I'm at the bottom. I'm in a 30-year-old mobile home that I don't even own. And, I'm on Social Security. I can't make any money. So, he got what he wanted. I have no power to do anything. I can't get on an airplane and go to Minnesota and investigate anything. I don't have the money. I can't go to Colorado. I can't go here. I can't go there. I can't hop in a car and go driving all over the United States. I don't have the money. He's got all this money to do all this stuff. So why is he worried about me? That's what you got to wonder. What is it about me that's got Tim so terrified that he's got to come and say that his fake task force is after me? Do I hate the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force? It's hard to hate something that doesn't exist. I don't like the fact that Tim Homseth and those around him are using this fake thing to bilk people out of their money. I mean, he's getting the money to run around in that car from somebody. Not enough apparently to afford a hotel. He's got to sleep in the car. Murtaugh is an ex-truck driver that lives in a trailer that has been in trouble many times for claiming to have information about missing children. Well, unfortunately, he lied again to him. I don't have any information on missing children. All I did was write a letter, and it was a hypothetical letter. People were doing, there's about a dozen of them out there if you bothered to look, written by different people. There was even, a deputy sheriff in Virginia wrote one because that's how they caught the turnpike shooter. or the Beltway shooter, they called him. And that's where I got the idea from. It's the letter that was sent about the Beltway shooter. Was it a mistake? Yeah. And I paid for it. I'm still paying for it. But Tim keeps this up. And he's got and he's using material generated by a pedophile. This is what's so funny about this. All these YouTube videos, 4 of them, were done by a convicted pedophile. So, it makes me wonder, why is Tim Holmseth supporting pedophiles? It's astonishing. But, that's Tim. He cannot take criticism. Just can't do it. There's people that come in here every day and say something on my YouTube channel, and, they have their opinion. But I'm not going to go out and say that the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force has got a dossier on you, or the federal government's got a dossier on you, because that's ridiculous. Timothy Charles Holmseth is declaring by putting this up on his Facebook that he is against the First Amendment. If he had the power to do so, he'd shut me down, because he does not believe in the First Amendment. It's weird. But I thought that was kind of weird. It just popped up 5 minutes ago. Well, 12 minutes ago now. And he still has not said a thing about that letter. He refuses to answer the question about the letter. And Timmy, since I know you're in here, why do you refuse to produce the letter where you accuse me of asking inappropriate questions about your family? You have yet to do it. In your legal papers that I have, you accuse somebody else of doing it. Not me, somebody else. So what is it? Which is it? You keep bouncing around. You're like a basketball court. You're being dribbled around with all your different theories. Well, but Tim isn't up to the challenge. I thought this was funny. It's right, right exactly when I figured he'd do it. It took him longer than usual. Usually he does this within hours, but he didn't do it yesterday. But now he's doing it. But boy, he just right near, he's like a stenographer. He's just. But there is no PPTF. And he can sit there and he can put up this shit every day, and it's not going to change it, Timmy. I have been in Central Park. I know the geography of Central Park. What you're saying about kids being rescued is impossible there. You need to get your facts straight. I dare Tim Holmseth to take that little SUV of his and go to New York City, and to go to Central Park and look for himself. He's got all these special credentials where he's the press secretary to the PPTF. He can march right up to those tents. And he can go in there and he can talk to all these little kiddies. Put a mask on and go in there, Timmy. Timmy, right? The press secretary of the White House asked those questions. Timmy, why don't you go to the White House? Why don't you get a White House press pass? I mean, you're this press secretary to the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force. You should have no problem getting a White House press pass to go in there, sit your ass down, and ask Donald Trump to explain what's going on. I dare you. You won't do it. You can't do it. You'll come up with an excuse. But if you are what you say you are, you should be able to get over to New York City within the next, from where you're at, it's probably an 18-hour drive. Probably take you 2 days to get there. Go over to New York City. Go down there in that Central Park. If not there, what you do, you get to I-95, you hook a right, you go down to Washington, D.C. Or maybe you go up, I don't know. Anyway, Go to Washington, D. Yeah, you hook a right. Get down to Washington, D.C. Go to the White House. Get yourself a damn press pass. Go in and sit down and ask the president. Say, hey, Mr. President, this is your spokesman for the PPTF. Can I ask you a couple questions? I'm sure Mr. Trump would probably say, hey, get that Timmy right up here. I want him right next to me, right here, right here. Screw that 6-foot stuff. We'll have him right here. All right, Timmy, what do you want to know? You're my best buddy, Timmy. How you doing? I'd love to see that. I would get on YouTube and I'd say, well, I guess I was wrong. Boy, if you want to prove me wrong, Tim, that's the way to do it, Go shake hands with the big guy. And if Mike Pence comes up and says, Pence, I know about you. You're trying to kill our president. You're trying to take his job. Mr. President, you need to arrest that guy and get him out of here. Why doesn't he do that? Because he ain't got the balls. Well, see, that's it, Dodger. He's that one man from the president. That makes him important. That means if somebody tells Donald J. Trump that Timothy Charles Homeseth is sitting in the press briefing room, I mean, Trump would be out there and say, hey, come on, Timmy, get up here, get up here, get up here. Come on, Tim, come on, man. How you been doing? You're doing a hell of a good job with this pissy PF thingy-majig that I set up. Let's get up here and you can give a little speech. Maybe I'll try and get you the Pulitzer Prize. How about that? Yeah. But he can't do it because it's a lie. It's all a lie. Tim is not going to get up and go to Washington, D.C. He hasn't been anywhere near Washington, D.C. If I was that close to the President of the United States, I'd be in a goddamn airplane right now flying to Washington. I'd park that SUV in an airport parking lot. I'd leave on a jet plane, go over to Washington, D.C., walk into room 132 in the West Wing and say, hey, I want a damn press pass. I'm from the PPTF. I want to talk to my good friend Donald J. Trump. And if you can find me out Melania, I'd like to give her a great big cuss and a little smoochie on her left, on her cheek. But he won't do it because he can't. They don't know who. If Tim Homeseth were to show up and try to get a White House press pass, the Secret Service would drag him out, throw him in the back of one of those black SUVs and haul him ass down to down the street. And he'd be able to ask a whole bunch of questions and may have to answer a few questions while he's at it. So Tim Homeseth is never going to get within 100 feet of Donald J. Trump. I guarantee you that. He's yet to do it. All these time that he's talked about being this close to President Trump, he hasn't done it. He's not going to do it. He'll come up with an excuse as to why, but you'll never see Timothy Charles Homeseth be acknowledged by Donald Trump. And I just, these people that believe in him, you refuse to understand that. It's funny as shit. Well, I'll tell you something, Catherine. Getting a press pass of any kind, they even have like a limited press pass, you have to go through all kinds of hell to get one of those. And so Tim Homeseth is not going to be getting any press pass into the White House. So he's going to keep up with his fantasy because there's enough stupid people over there that are going to believe everything he says. And, that's just the way it goes. This is another day that's gone by where he refuses to show this so-called letter. He can't even make one up. You know, he could get on. He could get on and he can make a letter up. I mean, it's not that hard. It would be enough to convince his people, and he won't do it. It's too late. Because he knows I know how to break this stuff down. I can, I'll run it over to the sheriff's department and say, this guy's saying I wrote this. They'd have him in jail in 5 minutes. Because it would be a fake letter. The thing Tim doesn't understand is that if he was as powerful as he says I am, because let me go down here. He says, I am a spokesperson for the Broward County's deep state, and has been ranting and raving about the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force reporting on children being rescued. If I was that powerful that I was a spokesman for this deep state, the deep state would go get Tim, and Tim would have an accident or something. But I don't have that power because it doesn't exist. This deep state thing is another load of crap. And, But, there's people that believe in this shit, and they follow Tim because he's preaching to the choir. That's the only reason. And so he can say whatever he damn well please. And well, good luck with collecting that, Chad. Tim likes, Tim just sucks up money like a vacuum cleaner and takes advantage of people. So, but, this is, I get the, matter of fact, that haircut that I had back then, I'll have it again tomorrow. I'm going to get my buzz tomorrow. I usually don't let my hair grow this long, and no, I don't go to a barber to get it. Cheryl does my hair. So I'm going to look like a bald eagle tomorrow. Because I don't like long hair. It's too frizzy. And this time of the year, I don't wear it long anyway. So I'm gonna have a completely new look tomorrow. I may have to wear a hat. Because the picture here of me with no shirt on, that hair, that's about where I keep it. It was starting to grow back. But the PPTF is non-existent. But you're not going to be able to tell people with no common sense that they're going to believe it because they want to believe it. It fits their theories, their agenda. I don't know if you call it a hippie. If anything, people don't look at me and think I'm a skinhead. Hippie, our hair gets, pretty close to a nude head. I don't look I don't look good with a nude head, but, in this time, right now, I can't get to a barber. They're not allowing barbers right now down here. I don't think it's an essential business. So I can't go I can't go to the barber and get my hair. Because if it was open, I would go to the barber. I go up to Walmart, get my hair cut. But things at Walmart are really weird right now. I don't even like to go up there. That place is so screwed up. So what I do, there's a Winn-Dixie right across the street from my house, so I go over there. Yeah, it would be sick if it were true. I mean, if we had people doing that sort of thing, this world is really bad. I mean, I'm not saying that there's nothing like this going on, but not the way Timmy's representing it. And there is no Pentagon Pedophile Task Force fighting it. It's a combination of state, federal, county, and city law enforcement throughout the United States, provinces and cities up in Canada, and different organizations around the world are doing it. It is not one Pentagon Pedophile Task Force that Tim has anything to do with that's doing this stuff. The Pentagon Pedophile Task Force is doing nothing but sucking in money. And we're going into... Okay, it looks like we're going to get some buffering going on, guys. I'm getting messages on the panel here that we're buffering, so uh, if I kind of get frozen, that's why. And it's just the way it goes. We'll get a decent amount of viewers tonight, but, geez, this is just comedic. But this is what's so funny. I mean, Tim Holmes says is worried about me with my mediocre number of viewers, and according to his YouTube channel, this high command thing has got 9,100 subscribers, and this stupidity has gotten 3,072 views. So why would Tim be worried about this mediocre little channel? Now, in comparison, now I've got 29 people on here, which, believe it or not, is high for the latest. I mean, there's times I've had more than that, but I've never really had that many people on the stream. And on my archives, now so far I've had 161 views on Saturday. Friday it was 218. The 16th it was 312, and then Wednesday was 148. So my numbers aren't really up there. And what's not showing up on I got exactly 750 subscribers. So I'm not even close. I'm not even 10%. I'm not even 1% of what Tim has. And he's griping about my channel? Wow. But, he's worried about a channel that is nowhere near the size of his channel. Not even close. And it'll probably never get that high. I don't get it. I mean, if anything, I should be what I'm probably doing is building his channel up because he puts all this stuff out there. Even though it's lies. But that's all Timmy's capable of doing. He's just a commensurate liar. Puts up this ridiculous nonsense. And then he comes over. The funniest thing about it is he's coming over and he watches me. Because that's what he's doing. He's over here watching me right now. And if not him, then Randy or somebody else. There's always somebody from that other side watching this channel. I'm not bothered by it. You can watch me all day long if you want. Doesn't bother me at all. Well, whatever that was, I missed it. Yeah, that, people get drawn to this stuff for whatever reason. It's the same people that believe in Roswell, New Mexico, and, E.T. and all this stuff. I mean, I believe in extraterrestrials, but I don't think they've been coming down here and shaking hands in the past few years, and I don't think there's any lizard-eyed people walking around. But, yeah, he apparently is a fan of mine. He loves this channel. Loves talking about it. Even if it's negative shit, he still likes talking about it. But, I learned a long time ago there's no such thing as bad publicity. I mean, Rush Limbaugh, about half of his audience are haters. There's 50% of the audience that listens to Rush Limbaugh can't stand the guy, but they listen to him. Oh, God. I mean, I've caused people to be addicted. Guess we're going to have to start a Murd Anonymous or something here. I'm a Markaholic. I have been sober for 5 minutes. Oh, God. Why did I tell you, people are addicted to me, and it's a pretty low bar there. I'm probably the most boring person on the internet. I've been told that. You're the most boring person on the internet. You need to get a hat and go to work for Walmart. Yeah. I don't have a face mask yet, though. Walmarts are starting to make the employees wear the face mask. I don't have one. But anyway, kind of run out of steam here a little bit. But Dodger Stone, keep up the videos. Yeah, what shit for brain Holmesat doesn't understand, he says, I've been to New York City. I was born and raised in Elmira, New York. And my parents and I would spend weekends and sometimes even a week down in New York City because my father had a wartime buddy that lived in the Bronx, right across the street from Fordham University on Fordham Road, in one of the little brown house things. And I used to go down to Central Park. Central Park. It's right smack in the middle of Manhattan. And you got all the expensive office buildings and multi-million-dollar stuff. Oh, thank you, Just Me. Appreciate that. But if people ought to go and study the history of Manhattan, and they would understand just how impossible it is for things to be done that Timmy says are being done. But, well, I try my best at satire. I love your videos. Right, Dodger, you do a hell of a lot better job than I could ever do. But New York City is next to Long Island Sound, and it is next to Hudson Bay, and it's fairly close to sea level. And there's just places in New York City you cannot do things. And shale is not a very good thing to make a cave out of. If there is ever a Timothy Holmesat trial and I'm able to get there, I will cover it. If and when it happens, I will cover it. Just like I'm going to cover the Field McConnell thing once they decide what the hell they're going to do. Because the latest information I have out of Broward County is that the calendar call that was scheduled for May 7th is going to be canceled. That the earliest they're going to do anything with Field McConnell is going to be in June. And so he's going to be under house arrest for that much longer. So by the time Field McConnell goes to trial, he's going to have a serious case of cabin fever. Because he can't go anywhere. He's stuck. It's a $500,000 house, but he can't leave the house. He can't go out the front door. Oh, thank you, Christina. He might be able to go out back and sit on. They have like a back patio type thing. They got a barbecue grill out there. They have a really nice swimming pool. I mean, you talk about a place to serve time. It's got a custom swimming pool, pretty decent backyard, the whole 9 yards. So he's got a good place to go out to. I don't know if the ankle bracelet's waterproof or not. Probably is. Because he had to take a bath. He can't even take that thing off to take a bath. So, oh, thank you, Grippler. It's not necessary, but thank you. But, he just, a gilded cage is a gilded cage. He had the house in Wisconsin. He probably would have wound up getting house arrest up there, if he had used his brains. But he didn't, and he wound up in the county slammer. But, he could have posted bond if he had the money to post it. But now, you see, he has to leech off his son in order to get out of the mess he's in. We're in the middle of a shutdown. I don't know if the guy's even running his business right now. So the poor guy's probably at home under pressure to do something with his employees. He's probably had to try and apply for one of these loans from the government to pay his employees. And on top of that, He's got a mortgage on his house. He's got a mortgage to pay to the bondsman. He's got all this stuff going on in his house. And now he's got this stupid old man that used to be his father living there. And they got to feed him. So, yeah, Bill McConnell's on a level 1 monitor. So he can't do anything. He's extremely restricted. And so the son is stuck there with this guy, and with this lockdown, the son can't go anywhere unless it's on important business. So all these people are in this house with this grumpy old idiot. So they must be having a ball down there. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. Well. Hit the wrong window. No, he did this thing about the Australian sex ring, and that's it. But that's Australia. That's not the United States. So he had nothing to do with that one. Well, thanks for listening, Al Kennedy, and enjoy whatever you're doing. As a matter of fact, I am about to do a retweet. I got a big Q staring me in the face here. Dr. Tammy puts out a warning for Fed officers from LEO. Yeah, good old Dr. Tammy. Okay, what have I got here? The Shining comes to mind. Yeah, that would fit the situation perfectly because yeah, Phil must be going crazy not being able to spin his theories. Because one of these days, and I'm going to get my lazy ass, I'm going to check the voter registration for his son. I'm curious to see how he's registered to vote down there. Well, hi, moderate. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, he always makes it out that they're really doing this to get the ventilators for the kids in the caves. I mean, it's all about the PPTF and the kids in the caves, and he latches on to things. He's kind of put the oh, what the hell's that damn kind of? He's put that other thing he was doing on hold and concentrating on the kids in the tunnels. Tim looks rough all the time. I don't think I've ever seen him with his hair combed. And you got to see his bald spot again. He's looking around like an owl, so you see his little bald spot at the top of his head. Jesus Christ. But I guess maybe he. Yeah, David Street's another piece of work. Jesus. But that's it. They're all this little tribe. That's where I thought he might be going, is back out there. Probably get another education thing, or David's got another one of his little seminars going somewhere. Maybe he's going to be a guest at a seminar. Oh, you got all those clothes in there. He's got that one jacket in the back that he always wears. And, he's down in an area where it's warm. And so all that mildew is going to smell, because I doubt he's taking those clothes to the laundromat. You know, you get all those clothes in that hot car, and then it gets cold at night, so you get heat during the day, condensation during night, heat again. That's a vacuum cleaner for mildew. That car's going to smell like crap. Because, and the clothes are not packed in suitcases. They're just piled up on top of everything in that car, and that's the worst thing you can do. Because, you spend a week in a car with your clothes piled like that, it's going to create all kinds of problems. I mean, you just don't do that. I mean, when you're a truck driver for 40 years, you learn that the hard way. The first time you make a trip in a truck and you do that with your clothes, you're gonna change your habits real quick. And you'll learn that you got to have your clothes in something that keeps the air out, and you got to keep your clothes washed. You got to keep them out of the light, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I can imagine what that car is like. 'Cause that car, I think that car is vinyl seats, if I looked at the videos close enough. Cloth seats just as bad, but the problem with vinyl seats is you can't get rid of your sweat. So it's going to come back, and so what happens is all the sweat, instead of going into his seat, it goes right back into his clothes. It's just trapped there. And then when his sweat dries, he's going to smell like a guy that's been out on the street for a year. Well, at the Life and Lexi, Pete, there are people that will believe in anything. And he's just managed to tap into a market of these people that will believe this weird stuff. And it's like Tim Holmseth is a Facebook version of Coast to Coast Radio. Coast to Coast America used to be like that, does that stuff. They have psychics and people that say they were kidnapped by aliens, all kinds of stuff on there. I used to listen to that thing when I was a truck driver, and I'd laugh my ass off. Yeah, that's probably what. See that, just me. That's probably what Tim is doing. Is he's getting trained in how to do that stuff. And he wants to tap in on that market. The problem is, if he starts doing that, he's going to give himself away. So I'm going to be curious to see, but I have a feeling that's where this is going. He's going to get involved in something like that, and that's how they're going to get him. Yeah, people are using that. These are military operations. They can't tell us what they're doing as they're doing it. It has to be done in secrecy. See that somebody posted this over on his Facebook, and that's the excuse that you use. This is how you make a believable lie. You say, "Oh, they're doing it in secret. They can't tell you this stuff." Well, then why the hell is Tim Homestead out there blabbing about it? Because what they don't understand is when Tim puts this stuff up on Facebook, if this is true, he's given a heads up to all these bad guys that, this PPTF is out there, so they just change their strategy. If this was actually the truth, they would tell Tim to shut the hell up, that he's giving away the ball game. He's giving away the fact that they're doing all these things, and if there's people doing this thing, they're going to say, "Oh my God, they're blowing up our caves. Man, we got to do something. Hell with caves. We'll take the kids somewhere else." So he's just, but it's all fake. But this is the excuse they use. And it's the perfect lie. I'm working for some super duper secret task force, and I can't tell you what they're doing because it's a big secret. But, this is what they're doing. It's stupid. I mean, yeah, the government does secret stuff all the day, but they don't have some guy sitting in a car and blabbing about it. The government doesn't even want, if the PPTF was out there, the government wouldn't even want people to know it exists. They'd say, "Homestead, shut up. We don't want people to know the PPTF is out there. It's a secret organization, and you're blabbing about it." So that's where it falls apart. Yeah, it'd be treason. It's there's a thing when you have that high security, there's a little piece of paper you sign. And if you violate that, it's treason. Because you're divulging government secrets. You can't do that. And the government isn't going to authorize them to say, "Well, this super duper," they say, "Oh yeah, this thing exists, but I can't talk about it. They're rescuing all these kids. I can't talk about it. They got all these kids in tents in Central Park, but I can't talk about it." It's ridiculous. I could start something like this tomorrow. And I'd probably get if I did it the right way, I'd probably get a bunch of followers. But it's a lie. It's ridiculous. You can't, it makes no sense. Yeah, he's a true weirdo creep. Yeah, I gotta charge my camera up again. Might do some shit with this camera tomorrow. I don't know. Boy, this thing is a pain in the ass. There it goes. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. And one thing at least, Field McConnell would at least read the Bible. Tim doesn't even do that. I don't think I've ever seen a Bible in his hand. Maybe now that I made the suggestion, we'll see him with a Bible. Oh my God. But I think, he keeps doing enough of that. That's, someday people are going to wake up. At some point, people are going to say, "Well, look, enough is enough." I mean, by the time we find out about all these 50,000 kids in the caves, there'll be adults grown up, married, and have kids of their own. Well, the thing of it is the pictures he shows on that one article was made by an artist in Australia. They're figures. They're not real people. Not even the little girl in the dress is real. It's all. We've got something similar at the airport where we've had a guy that's been sleeping at the airport for 20 years, and artists do that. These things look realistic, but it's all fake. They're basically sculptures, and it's the same. They use the same techniques when they make movies. So he's not, you know, he's just not telling the truth. But But you're not going to be able to convince people of that. And just... I don't know why the stream deck keeps coming up. It's not even... I don't even have that set up yet. Probably ought to unplug it. Yeah, it's got to be babies. It's always babies, 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 babies. Because of the younger because it's a tug word. If you say babies, people are going to say, "Oh my God, these poor little babies," and so that's what you run into. Now, if you didn't know the background of this image I just put up, you would think this is some poor slob stuck at the airport taking a nap, which is a common thing at the airport. This is a sculpture. They put this. That's a local artist did this, and this is a self-portrait of the artist. Um, and this has been at the Orlando airport since the beginning. If anybody ever flies into the Orlando International Airport, this is right down from the food court. And I've had people tap on the window try to wake the guy up, and they couldn't figure out why. And I've had them ask me, why is this guy in this box? And I say, it's a statue. The guy isn't real. And he's got hair in his legs. He's even got a 5 o'clock shadow. I mean, it's as real as it can get. And this lady in Australia does the same thing. She does this kind of art. But this is called The Traveler. And, you can Google this and you'll see the picture. They've moved it twice. I'm looking at some of the pictures I have that people have taken of them. I took a recent, I took this recently when I was at the airport. This is about 2 months old. But, this is how, it's, that matter of fact, that looks like Bernie. Yeah, because of those the sunglasses and the mustache and so on. But it's a kind of fiberglass. I can't think of what they call it, but it's it weighs about 20 pounds because it's hollow on the inside. Because what he does is he makes an external mold, then he blow molds into it, then he puts the shirt and the pants are real. He dressed the guy up. And I don't know how he did it with that leg being bent the way it is, but he got it on there. And the duffel bags are both real. All the bags are real, but the man himself is, basically fake. But this is what when you go over and see the article that Tim Holmseth wrote, where he used the pictures, that's on there. That this is this woman's artwork. And so that's what you're going to run into with that. But it's if you go over and go into the media part of my Twitter account, eventually you'll find it. It's in there, and you know, but it's just. But it's something of an attraction. People look for this every time they go to the airport. And I've had people talk to me about, oh, you're going to Orlando? Yeah, I live down there. And he says, have you ever heard of the statue? Yep. So, but it's actually, the airport is a hard place to sleep at because they deliberately put chairs in um, for people to, it's hard for people to sleep in, so they literally sleep on the floor. And we have in the main lobby that separates the A side and the B side, there's these green uh, lounge chair like things, and you'll see people sleeping in those. It's very hard to do, but they do it. And it's just, you get people that come to the airport and they realize they can't get on their plane for 4 hours, so they have to sleep somewhere. And so they're always um, finding places to sleep. I really feel sorry for the people. I go in there when I come back from someplace and I'm running through the airport. I see all these people sleeping, and I just feel sorry for them. I almost had to do that once in Kentucky because of the rental car, but as it turned out, I didn't have to do it. I got alternative because I thought I was going to have to wait 12 hours to get a car, and as it turned out, I just said I held it. I took an Uber instead. That's a story for a different day. Dwayne, I don't believe that. I'm sorry. I've heard that endochrome stuff. For one thing, people have to understand what endochrome is. So that's just another one of these weird things. But that's another thing he said too. He said that they're harvesting the kids for endochrome, or however you pronounce it. I mean, there's all kinds of weird shit running around. This thing with Bill Gates is the latest. I mean, all the guy is a code writer, and all of a sudden they got him doing all kinds of weird shit. I mean, you just can't win. Yeah, it's a crazy world. I have the perfect song, but I can't play it because it's copyrighted. Oh yeah, he put that video up about 3 hours ago. The one about the kids in the caves and Central Park and all that. So you got to check out that. Oh God, excuse me. It's over in that high command one, or if you can get on his Facebook. It's over there. Yeah, he's in the car again. Well, at least he was. Now, he after the car, he put up a couple articles, but he's. Let's see. Let me go back over there. But see, the car video was put up 4 hours ago. So it's a 4 hour old video. And he did two of them. He did one at 4 and one at 9. So I think what he did is the car was done 9 hours ago, and then he turned around and he re-listed it 4 hours ago. So it's like he put one on his Facebook, which was the live one, and then he reloaded it onto YouTube. So it's in both places. Florida man. Oh, what? Florida man claims he's on federal task force tracking kidnapped children. Now, when did I say that? Tim just put up a thing 4 minutes ago. Let's see what this is. Oh, yeah, he's repeating the same article he put up before. But where did I say I was part of a Florida, bleh. Where did I say that I was part of a federal task force tracking kidnapped children trafficked abroad? Where did I say that? I mean, where does he come up with this shit? All he did, he took the article he put up before, repeated it, put up the counterfeit chats again, put up monographs videos, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and the cartoon. We got to have the cartoon. Mert and Geraldo. But this is what he does. Yeah, this one with Mert prank call again by monoxide is what my hair will look like tomorrow. And this one. But, he does the same thing all over again. And he must have copied and pasted the same article. Nothing has changed. All he changed was the headline. This is what he does. He does this with everything. He'll take just for the hell of it. Yeah, this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I mean, he can't even come up with new stuff. He's got to come up with the same crap and just recycle it. But they just put this up a few minutes ago. So he must have been working on this for hours. Because it took him, since even the last article it posted, it took him well over an hour. And all he had to do was now I've lost my train of thought. Choo choo. Well, this is funny. Okay, now let's see what's happened here. Yeah, there's one of two ways I'm going to have to do this. Let's see. Oh, why did it do that? All right, let's. Nope. I wanted image. I didn't want. Yeah, he gives me more credit because he thinks I'm important enough to claim this stuff. But this is rich. No, but this is the latest work of fiction out of Tim Holmes's. And I don't understand where he came up with this. Because I'm not any task force that's looking for, I'm not part of any federal task force. I sure as hell haven't claimed it. Because if I was a member of a task force, nobody would know about it. Because you don't blab about these things. You just do it. You know. So I'm at a loss here. I don't know what triggered this nonsense. But he's got to do this in order to keep the attention up. Because, yeah, goodbye, Dodger. Appreciate you showing up. Let me know when you get the video done. But, 8 minutes ago, and that was, he did this thing on the busting sex ring an hour ago. And then just now he put this thing up. So it didn't take him long at all. It took him an hour because he's got to assemble all the videos. He's got to format everything, and just the same crap. But that's Tim. Yeah, definitely have a good one. Dodger, same to you. Get to work. We're counting on you, buddy. But, so once again, Tim is up to his old tricks. I mean, this is probably the 50th time he's put the same material up over the years. It's the same, he just regurgitates the same thing over and over and over and over again. It's, this is weird. But it's nice. Now, he must have got worried. I got up to 30 viewers tonight, so it must have worried him. I hit a recent record. If I get up over 20 people, then he gets all bent out of shape. But that's, but he loves me. Timmy loves me. Yes, he loves me. He cannot do without me. La 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 la. Yeah, train wreck Timmy. But this is, it's strange that this guy cannot get on a plane, go to Washington, D.C., get himself a security pass, and go shake hands with the big man and say, hey, Dan, let's have a presser here. We'll tell all this stuff. I know you've been reading my blog. You've been watching my YouTube. You've been over on Facebook checking me out. So, boss, let's have ourselves a presser and talk about the PPT up. Let's let the good people out there know what we're doing. Yepper. That's what we're going to do. What do you mean Timmy's going crazy? He's always been crazy. Maybe he's getting crazier, but he's always been this way. The only thing that's changed is what he's talking about. You go back to the beginning and read some of the stuff in the beginning. This is just an extension. He changes his narrative around to meet current events. He steals pictures from the government. That's the United Air Force picture. That's not even the Marines. Um, he could at least have chosen a photograph of Marines instead of people from the Air Force. Um, but that's Timmy. Yeah, I just. But, I guess it's therapy for him. He has to do something to keep himself busy. Yeah, and I guess repeating the same thing over and over again is, gets him off. What the hell's going on here? Well, this is funny. I don't know what Randy is trying to prove. She's over on um, there. She seems to. I'm not sure what she's doing with these pictures. I guess she's never heard of stock footage. Um, but I'll let Randy in a little secret. There's something called an Earth Cam, and Jacksonville Beach has cameras that are running right now. So if you want to go over there, you can go on that live cam and see. And just for the hell of it. I mean, I don't even know what they have. Because, newsbreak.com. Well, let me go to newsbreak.com. I'm curious. I want to see something. Well, that's Jacksonville Beach. See, I've been to Jacksonville Beach, so I know these people are at the pictures. In that picture, if uh, Randy wants to check, it's WCBI is the one that posted that picture. Um, so, I mean, you can source the picture. And what she doesn't understand what Newsbreak is. Newsbreak is a newspaper, and they have pictures from all over the country. And so, all she did is she messed up because I'm not seeing the headline where they use the same picture. Because, it says right here on Newsbreak, crowds flock to Jacksonville beaches amid record COVID-19 cases. And it's WCBI that put it up. And so it's the same, because I'm not, now let me go back to her Facebook. I'm curious about this. Because she does the same thing Tim Holmseth does. Well, it would help if she wouldn't cut off the. Oh, it's New York Post. Yeah, but Newsbreak. But I'm not. Los Angeles County records highest death. Okay, let's find it that way. See, I'm trying to figure out. Okay. See, I don't think. No, I got the wrong link. News break. See. Oh, yeah, that's exactly what she did. She just went in here and she transposed the headline. Because Newsbreak is a zip code based newspaper. You can enter your city and zip, and it'll go to the link, and then it'll also um, sometimes it'll put the same story, put all different places on the same line on the same page, and so you'll see a story about Jacksonville, Florida, then you'll see a story about LA. It's just the way this publication works, and she screwed around with it. You know, because if she wants to provide the link that shows that headline with the Jacksonville Beach story, I would like to see it. She's lying to her followers again, because that is Jacksonville Beach that's open. I know that beach. I know just about where there's an entrance near where they filmed that beach. So it's Jacksonville Beach. I don't care what she says about L.A. And I don't even know what she's driving at. What's fake news about it? She can write the TV station that did the story and ask them. But I would like, and of course she didn't put up the link. All she did, she took the pictures from two different, because she's got the New York Post on one side, which I read that article. She's got Newsbreak over here on the other side, but then she's got this Los Angeles County records the highest death rate with the Jacksonville picture. Where's the rest of the newspaper? She's screwing around. But that's what she does. I don't know as if I'll ever stop it. I can just keep pointing out how easy it is to fake things on the internet. I mean, sometimes I wonder if Randy's doing this for Tim, because the fakery is consistent. She does the same thing Tim does. She misrepresents what is on there. So, but fine, people, if her followers want to go out there and frolic on the beach, be my guest. That'll be that many fewer of them around to worry about. If they want to call this pandemic a fake news, they can call it a fake news. If they want to if they want to bet their lives on it being fake, so be it. I don't really care. I'm a believer in science, so anybody who wants to go out and be a fool, be a fool. Oh, good night, Rebecca. You have a good night. I appreciate the support, everybody. I really do. And you all do your own homework. You go out there and you find the truth, which is what people need to do. Say, don't believe me, don't believe Tim. Go out there and find the truth on your own. That's the best way to combat these frauds, is to dig deep, find your own truth. May disagree with me. That's just the way it is. I'm not looking for anything but the truth. Oh, dear me. Holy smokes. Well, in 1968, which is about right now, they had 40,000 deaths in Vietnam under the Johnson administration. So Trump managed to beat that record so far. Yeah, that is kind of weird. I don't know why she did that. You know, it's possible to do because Randy is a generic name for either gender. You can be male or female. As I do know a Randy that's male, and he spells his name the same way. So it's you know it's one of these gender neutral names they call it. The hell puts it. Yeah, she's female. It's just for whatever reason she's too lazy to change her profile. And she changed her middle initial. Her real name is Randy L, not Randy Q. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Yeah, that's how buried she is in this Q nonsense. She changed her middle initial. Doo-doo-doo. The need for Tim to make things up. That's so weird. He just has to make things up. And this federal task force thing, I am not a member of any federal task force. I don't know why the hell he makes this shit up. He just makes himself look stupid. Well, it's either that or it's the other way around. I don't know, but she will 9 times out of 10 she will copy stuff over to her Facebook. Uh, I think he does. I think he does this stuff on me to intimidate me. He thinks I'm going to get intimidated. I don't. I think it's stupid because all it does is it proves, if people follow his history, it just proves that he can't keep his story straight because he's constantly changed. He constantly changes things. So, what are you going to do? He gets off on repeating the same nonsense year after year after year. I mean, this has been going on for 10 years. So, spokesman for the Broward's deep state. This is absolutely the funniest thing. So, he's twice in an hour he's put this up. The exact same thing. Actually, at every half hour he recycled the story. So, we're due to have it recycled again. Yeah, I kept chatting. I missed out on whatever that was about. But Well, he's going to have a hard time, Kevchat, because I don't claim to be a federal agent. You know, I'm not a member of any federal task force. I'm not um, part of any super duper secret thingamajig. I'm certainly not a press secretary for any organization having to do with uh, anything. I am a retired truck driver that has a very small YouTube channel. Period. Anybody says otherwise is lying. You know, just little old me. I'm sitting here in my 30-year-old mobile home while I'm in quarantine or whatever it is we're doing down here, uh, and yakking away about this king of the fantasy world. This guy outdoes Walt Disney on fantasy. He puts Walt Disney to shame. But, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Phil McConnell basically he's on a code of silence right now. He can't say a word about anything. He's, basically he got shut down. Oh, hell. Yeah, good old field con man. Boy, he's going to have his glory day one of these days. No, nothing new. They still got the calendar call on the court calendar, but the information I have from Broward County is that it's likely everything is going to be put on hold until after the 1st of June at the earliest. Uh, Dwayne, that is a question. Because what they're going to probably look at is by the time this goes to trial, Field will have been under arrest, under law enforcement control since the 4th of November. So we're looking at December, January, February, March, April, May, June. By the time he even has his calendar call, he will have been in lockdown for 7 months in one way or another. If he is put on probation, it would be with very, very, very strict prohibition. He would probably never see Field McConnell on the internet again, and he would be in such bad shape that it would be hard for him to pick up again. Plus, if he violates his probation, he winds up back in jail, and he still has to face the charges in Wisconsin. So it's like I said, once the Florida thing is dealt with, then they have to deal with Wisconsin. And then on top of that, all the federal investigations that are going on. So, Field McConnell, his troubles are just beginning. So any talk of Field McConnell being on probation and going back to life, a normal life just ain't happening. So, and by the time he comes to trial, he will have been under house arrest and everything up until the end of the summer. I would think September by the time a final decision on his case is brought down. So, he's going to lose a year of his life at a minimum, no matter which way this goes. Um, so I would not place any. Boy, you're retracting a lot of posts there, Kevchat. Um, it's and the thing of it is, the cabin fever has to be building up in that household. Um, I mean, he's imposing on the privacy of this young couple, or this couple. I don't know how young they are. Um, I mean, the novelty of seeing Grandpa is going to wear thin. The guy's under financial prison. Yeah, if the FBI starts looking into things, or I'll let it go at that. But the thing of it is with all these federal cases that are floating around, you got Absug, you got this woman in Kentucky, and the other woman in Colorado. Besides Absug, you got a lot of things piling up against Field and the others. And then on top of everything else, you had this civil lawsuit floating around. Because Field McConnell's a defendant in the Ohio lawsuit. So, Field's going to have a hard time of it this year. Yeah, Golden Mary, you just got here in time for me to shut down. I'll hang around for a few minutes because I'm just finishing up. Usually when I start to get to a point where I have nothing to talk about, then I kind of call it. But, as you can see by the screen grab up there, Tim is at it again. He posted this about 35 minutes ago, and he's saying that I claim to be part of a federal task force tracking kidnapped children, which I'm not. I just thought it was weird that he would do that. Well, the thing of it is, it's up to the court. If he's lost a year of his life, he's financially ruined because his house is in foreclosure. They're probably going to start selling his property off. The IRS is owed money. He owes the IRS over $100,000. So he's got problems coming out his earlobes. So this little thing in Florida is not going to do him any good. Plus he's got to contend with a divorce with the other wife. That hasn't, she's in the process of refiling an action. So, oh yeah, I'm a lot better. That little thing I was going through is completely gone. That really wore me down. But I get that damn thing every year, and it takes about a week to get rid of it. You don't want these people following you. Well, I can understand that. um, it's just I saw all the messages disappear, and I go, what? Some of them before I even got to see them. Oh, I know what he has. He's got an antique car collection that's I did an estimate of around $500,000 to $1,000,000. He's got one car there that I believe is worth about $600,000. See what I did. There's people up there that know him that I've talked to, and also what's his name that interviewed me a while back. That guy from New York City. He did a video on Field's house and it showed all the cars. So all I did is I picked them out and I did a quick appraisal on them. He's got a Chrysler Imperial convertible that's worth about $50,000. He's got a hot rod that's worth another $50,000, $75,000. Then he's got that big ass the one car there, I'd have to look it up to see what it is, but that's the $600,000 car. He's got quite a collection of cars. Chevy. Let me think. I don't know. I think the rollback truck he got, and I think the truck he uses to pull the two-car trailer is a Chevrolet. I'm just not sure. I'd have to go back and find my list. Oh, but he's got it's either 15 or 17 collectible cars because the limousine is collectible. The hearse, it's very specialized vehicle. They're kind of hard to sell. Um, it's a niche market. You really got to find someone that is interested in it because it's a late model limousine. It's in the late 70s, I believe. I'd have to look that up. But so there's the hearse. The Cadillac limousine's in pretty decent shape, but it's a modern car. He's got a station wagon, which is in the 70s. Then he's got, then you jump down to the 60s because you got the 66 Chrysler Imperial and then all these other cars. Oh, palm oil is good. The palm pollen might be a problem, but the oil itself is good. My problem is oak trees. We got a lot of live oak trees, and that it emits that yellow pollen, and it just drives me nuts. And when I lived up in Toronto, I had a big ass one right next to the house, and when it came time for that thing to release the pollen, it was all over the ground. It was all over my vehicles. Uh, I think what happened to Field is he got into a tax protesting because his biggest problem is with taxes, and because that's where the creditors are. When you look at everything, it's his taxes. You know, between the bank and the Internal Revenue Service, it's all over the taxes. The house is heavily leveraged. That's why his son probably had to pay for his bond because a bondsman is not going to use a house as collateral that has a tax lien against it. It just doesn't work. They won't do any of Field's property because everything's got a tax lien on it. Every single thing on that farm has a tax lien on it. And that includes the antique cars. So nothing can be sold off that property. Not even a toothpick can be sold. Everything. And what's funny, if I remember the paperwork right, his two dogs might even be on the tax because they're purebred dogs. Because the IRS, if the dogs are worth more than $1,000 a piece, they'll take the damn dogs and auction them off. They'll auction everything off. I've seen it happen 100 times. Poison oak, yeah. Well, this is just oak pollen. Because we got these oak trees down here like they're 80 to 100 feet across, and they just, man, when they let go, whew, just hold your breath. What the hell is all this shit? Hennepin County. Huh. Yeah, gotta keep busy, I guess. Yeah, he would have been, if he hadn't gotten involved in all this crap, he would have been living like a king. He's got his union pension from the airline. Oh, jeez. Why do these megas keep following me? Gotta block another one. Jesus. Uh, he does not own any livestock. He leases the land to uh, neighboring farmers, and what they do when they sell their livestock, he gets a kickback. It's kind of the way these farmers do things is they'll lease somebody's land if they don't have their own farmland, put their livestock on it, and then they work a deal out with the landowner uh, that he gets a percentage of the livestock when it's sold, or milk, or anything else. I know there's a lot of corn on the property, and that's a neighbor leases the fields for planting the corn. But it's called sharecropping. Um, it's a form of sharecropping, actually. Huh, that's cute. Oh, Kev Chat. That's obvious. If Tim Holmseth was Field McConnell's downfall, he uh, he destroyed Field because Field could have kept up for a long time. I mean, somehow, someday, he would have been brought down, but it would have been he probably could have outlived any federal investigation. Yeah, Golden Mare. That's common up there. It's common all over the country. Actually, we did the same thing. My father had a family farm, and he leased a big field to a guy down the street that had dairy cattle. And so, whatever deal Dad worked out with Kenny Munson, we got all the free milk in the world, man. We were drinking milk all the time. So, that's why I drink so damn much milk. It's because of Kenny Munson. But, he had a herd of Jerseys, about 30 or 40 of them. And, um, so it's just. But it's too bad that Field and Tim met, because Field would have been better off without him. Literally. And Tim doesn't care. He doesn't care that he ruined Field McConnell. He exploits the martyrdom of Field McConnell, just like I said in my video he would. And that's as far as it goes. But Tim is out there free to do what he wants. He's free to go wherever he wants to go. And Field McConnell's stuck. He has to be a burden on his son and his grandparents or his grandchild. Good night, Kev. Appreciate you coming in. But but Tim Holmseth is a scalawag, and he exploits people, uses him for what he wants to use him for, and at the first sign of trouble, he runs away from them and just leaves them to rot. And that's what's happening to Phil McConnell. He's rotting. He's stuck in a hot spot in South Florida. Fortunately, he's in a nice, secure house. The guy probably has HEPA air conditioning and all that. And so the family may be safe. But yeah, Field is ruined. He's at a point now where he'll never recover from this. There's nothing Field can do to recover. He can mitigate by singing like a canary about his fellow defendants, but other than that, there's really not much he can do. And these other people, they go on with their lives. And they post on their little Facebook accounts, do their little YouTube videos. Ugh, excuse me. So, It looks like once again things are winding down. Literally not much going on. But the one good thing about Tim Holmseth running around is he's going to get in a situation where he's going to get stuck someplace where there people are in lockdown, or he's going to get caught violating a stay-at-home order or something, and he's going to get arrested. But yeah, he's on a downward spiral. It's just going to be a matter of time. And eventually I can change the format and go over and start reviewing electronics and do my road trips again, cover local cases. Do something different and more productive. But right now, this is what we're at on um, the situation. Truth has a way of coming out. Just takes time. You know, you gotta think in the long term. That's what Timmy's trying to do with his fantasy, is to get people to think in the long term, so they don't immediately start demanding accountability for what he claims. So, the odds are already against him, because you can only, you know, all it's going to take is one traffic infraction, one car accident, one violation of the law, no matter what it is, and he's going to be on a blotter somewhere. And, that's going to be all it takes. Because the one thing law enforcement keeps an eye out for is for people running around with junk in their car, because they want to know what's going on. Why has this guy got a car loaded full of junk? Why has he got curtains on the window? Why is he driving a $20,000 SUV and he looks like he's been in a homeless shelter half his life? But okay, everybody, I think for tonight, I don't want to get Timmy here or there. Okay, Golden Mare. Well, appreciate that. I'm going to I'm going to shut down. Uh, yeah, what he did is he's covered the windows in the back. Most states won't allow you to cover the uh, driver's side windows and the passenger side windows in the front seat, so you can see the mirrors. But you can cover all the other windows. The only problem is law enforcement doesn't like that, because they have to be able to see in the car. So if he gets pulled over for any reason and they see all that stuff covering the windows, it's going to, it'll turn into a felony stop until they clear the site. Um, and if Tim Holmseth pulls any of the sovereign citizen stuff, he's going to be in a bad way. So, anyway, um, I thank everybody for tuning in, even my haters. Uh, I'm going to decide what I'm going to do tomorrow. I had not planned on doing these things every night, but we'll see how it works out. Um, but I thank you for coming in, sitting a while. Bless you all. Keep safe. Don't get the virus. Just wait things out, because tomorrow's another day, and the next day is another day, and eventually we'll get out of this mess and everybody can get back to some semblance of order. And I can get down and start covering some of these court cases. So, until we meet again, this is William J. Murtaugh, Mert Witness 1. Have a good one.